Ladies and gentlemen, California will now house transgender inmates by their chosen gender identity. That is absolute madness. Before the labels of transphobia are thrown out there into the ether, let me just lay out a few dot points for you. Dot point number one. Any adult should be able to do whatever they want with their body, as long needs to be in capital letters, as long as it doesn't harm anybody else. Simple. Second dot point is trans people communicate with me quite a lot. You probably think they don't, but they do. Okay, trans people come to my comedy shows. Trans people email me, DM me, whatever. And most of them, the vast majority really, just want to live a normal life. And I wish them all the very best with that. I welcome them to this channel, to my shows, to come up to me and talk to me in public. Whatever you want, okay? I respect you. I hope you are living your best life. But I genuinely think that what is happening in California and throughout America when it comes to prisons is batshit crazy. To sentence a 51-year-old transgender woman to live in a prison with other women who was, for 50 years of her life, a man, lived as a man, is dangerous. They could potentially, and not all the time, but they could potentially put a violent person who is stronger, bigger, and a whole range of different things more than, particularly when it comes to violence, more than the women who are in a vulnerable state inside prison walls. Dominance, violence, power, and strength is something that someone who has lived an entire life as a man would have over a woman who was locked up behind bars. California Governor Gavin Newsom signed into law on Saturday a package of measures intended to strengthen protections for LGBTQ people, including one that requires the state's correctional system to house transgender, gender non-conforming, and intersex people by their gender identity. The new law, SB 132, write that down, also requires California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to interview and record the inmate's self-reported gender identity. So you can just pick gender pronouns, like that matters in jail, and titles throughout the term of their facility. Now, in the vast majority of cases, this will be fine, okay? Nothing will happen. But people are saying that it is far too common that people like me, of my opinion, go out there and say this is too dangerous for women, yada, yada, yada. And they're talking about things that have never happened and very unlikely to happen. But they have happened. And they will continue to happen. And if more transgender women are housed with biological women, it will happen more and more. And this will be something we talk about more and more. It is dangerous. I don't want to upset anyone with this video. I know you think I'm just trying to upset everyone. I'm really not. I'm genuinely concerned for the biological women in this situation. It's dangerous. If I was a woman and my cellmate come in and she was some jacked fucking chick, I'd be pretty scared, to be honest. I really do think someone at some point will take advantage of this law. And they will decide that they are now a woman and they need to be housed in a women's facility. California has some of the strongest pro-LGBTQ plus laws in the nation. And with the bill signed today, our march towards equality takes an additional step forward, Newsom said in a statement. Now, there will be provisions in place. They will do interviews and all that type of business to stop dangerous inmates from making their way into the general population of the female prison. But the risk remains. Take this, for example. Female prisoner says she was raped by a transgender inmate. An inmate at Illinois' largest women's prison says she was raped by a transgender inmate who was transferred into her housing unit last year, and claims that the Illinois Department of Corrections officials conducted a sham investigation to help cover up the incident. The woman, whose name is not revealed in the lawsuit, also alleges that Illinois Department of Corrections officials covered up the rape and punished her for reporting it, claiming the rape allegation was false. So they didn't want this to get out. That was the big thing. They didn't want people to find out that they'd put a dangerous former man in with a vulnerable woman. But how would anyone know that this now transgender woman is so dangerous? Well, according to the ever-reliable source of Reddit, the defendant, Joanna Monroe, was serving a murder sentence after strangling their male cellmate to death at a men's facility. So, apparently, according to Reddit, a murderer. Someone thought it would be a fantastic idea to transfer them to a female prison where they'd be happy to have a fresh supply of vulnerable victims. Now, that's from Reddit. I don't know if it's absolutely true, but apparently it is. According to womenarehuman.com. Named Andre Patterson before he began identifying as a woman, Mr. Monroe's extensive criminal record includes convictions of second-degree murder, attempted murder, aggravated battery, and attempted aggravated arson. He is currently serving 11 years for the felonies. At age 17, Mr. Monroe had an argument with his male cellmate, 31-year-old Kamani Muhammad, and strangled him to death. At the time of the homicide, Mr. Monroe was being held on suspicion of aggravated battery with a firearm after shooting 2 people outside a barbershop. Holy fucking shit! This is why people are freaking out, because people like this are getting into a fucking cell with a biological woman. That is so dangerous. It puts women in danger, and it's happened in Illinois, and now it's going to happen in California, and you better fucking believe it'll spread to the rest of the world. There are 400 transgender inmates in Australian prisons right now, and they all want equality, and most of them probably fucking deserve it. But it is a risk. That's what I'm saying. Don't cancel me. There was this trans woman too, Karen White. What a fucking name to pick when you become a woman. Jailed for life after sexually assaulting, I better stop laughing, sexually assaulting women in jail and raping others outside of jail. There are even prison officers, female prison officers, who were raped by trans people in prison. Now, obviously, jail is a bad place filled with bad people. And most people who are trans inside of jail will more than likely be lovely, wonderful people. My real concern here is for the safety of biological women, and also the fact that people will be too scared to report this shit if anything does happen, because they will be labelled by people who freak out over everything, the woke people of the world, as transphobic if they speak out about it. If you're a trans person and you're in jail, you shouldn't have fucking broken the law, dickhead. But also, I hope you are feeling safe. You should feel safe, okay? If you're in jail, you should still feel safe, because people don't just go to jail for fucking murder and rape and horrible shit like that. They go for fucking tax evasion. You should feel safe. And that goes for everyone. And I don't think a biological woman who has a man, a former man, walking into their cell and then locking down at night time when the lights go off would feel very safe at all. I certainly wouldn't if I was in their shoes. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. Me dick stinks. Keep it moist, and I'll see you all very soon. Toodaloo. Au revoir. Bye.